If you're having a problem of your MacBook fan going 100%, going very loud, and your computer shutting off soon as you get into OS X, these are the steps I took to remedy the situation for me. It may be different for you, but the first thing I did was disassemble the laptop, took it apart safely, disconnected the battery, then took a good look at my logic board and my I/O board. My I/O board showed signs of corrosion, and I think that is because I like to place drinks on my left side, and that's where the I/O board is, and I think the condensation from the drinks corroded the board. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the only place moisture could have came from, because I don't actually sit things on top of my MacBook. So I do sit things directly next to it, but not anymore, obviously. So I had to buy a new I/O board to start, and that stopped the fan running at 100% speed issue, because when that I/O board has an issue or has a short, it's going to trigger the fan, because that I/O board helps the MacBook know when it needs to regulate the heat. So if you don't have your I/O board in, or if there's a short, it's going to run 100% fan. You could try it for yourself, disconnect it, turn your MacBook on, it'll run 100% fan. The next thing I did, because it still did not remedy the situation all the way, I replaced the battery. As I replaced the battery, I inspected the logic board, made sure there was no signs of corrosion, anything wrong. I came to the conclusion that there was absolutely nothing wrong with the logic board, but I still took it out of the computer, gave everything a good clean, used my canned air, just got all the little dust and dirt, went ahead and cleaned it all up. Then the next issue I had with the computer was, after I replaced the battery, it would not accept the new battery. So this is something that I had to address. The computer not accepting the new battery there is a secret boot sequence you have to put in. I'm not even going to try to explain it. I'm just going to show it on the screen. You have to press this boot sequence or it will never accept your battery. So even though you have the new battery, the fan's not on, it's still cutting off quick. Like as soon as you turn the computer on, you're on for a couple minutes, it cuts off because it thinks it doesn't have a battery. So you have to put in this new boot sequence. Even if it says 100%, it's still going to act as though it doesn't have a battery until you do this boot sequence. So make sure you do that. And after I did the boot sequence, everything seemed to be fine, but I was still having issues of the computer randomly cutting off. So the last thing I did, and I don't know if you're going to have to do this, but if it's still giving you problems, this is the last thing you have to do. Get a new MagSafe adapter. Once you replace the battery, replace the MagSafe with it. I don't know. Once again, I don't know if there's like some type of pairing with those devices, but I went ahead and just replaced everything. And once I replaced everything, it worked. The computer works perfectly fine now. Doesn't overheat, doesn't cut off. And it actually works better than it worked previously. Another thing I also did, because I was already in there, I went ahead, replaced my thermal paste, did things like that. But you don't have to do all that if your computer is relatively new. If it's over 10 years old and you've never replaced the thermal paste, that is a good idea because the thermal paste does regulate the temperature as well, not just the I/O board. So make sure you do those things and your MacBook should be up and running. Peace.